I'm talking about, the days that are really worth going flying on. So really good days where you could get in some XC kilometers, fly your first 100K flight. Hi, and welcome to the channel. This is episode one, very first video. My name's Kyle Martins. I'm a paragliding instructor. I work a lot with Mueller Wind Sports here in Calgary, Alberta. Also a Nova team pilot with Nova Paragliders. And I've decided to start up this YouTube channel. I'm specifically targeting newer pilots. So pilots, people fresh out of school or maybe just getting into it. That are, kind of out there on their own. They've got their starter license, their P2 license in Canada, in the US, and are looking for more information. And this first video is really just about like one of the most basic pieces of getting in good flying days is, just identifying good flying weather, and knowing which days you should be rallying to get out. And this is part one, so it's just really going to be focused on short-term forecasts. So really focused here on flying really good days. So not going to talk so much about if it's flyable, and it might just be borderline flyable, that sort of stuff. I'm talking about, the days that are really worth going flying on. So really good days where you could get in some XC kilometers, fly your first 100K flight or longer, and that type of stuff. So one of the easiest ways to think about it is kind of a process of elimination. We're not flying in rain, thunderstorms, etc., and high winds. So conversely, we're looking for mostly sunny weather, maybe partly cloudy, nice cumulus clouds, and light winds. If we're just going to think of what we're focusing on. So light winds, mostly sunny. So that's really all we're looking for. We'll talk a little bit about instability maybe when we look at a RAS windgram and whatnot. But really, the point here is really driving home the importance of just finding those days that look really good and what they look like when you're checking things out online with a few of the different tools. Okay, so we'll just get into it. But one of the first easiest things to look at is using just Environment Canada's standard forecasts. So for instance, up on my screen, I have, we're looking at Golden, BC, which we can obviously see if I'm just looking at the next few days here. We're on a Sunday, so for example, say I'm available for Monday, Tuesday, or through Wednesday. Monday's an obvious write-off. Tuesday's a maybe, because they're saying rain through Monday night and whatnot. And then Wednesday looks, again, mostly sunny at this point, with rain starting in the evening or nighttime. So if I see some good amount of sun, mixing sun and cloud, step two really is now just checking the wind. If I was looking long term, I'd look and see that, oh yeah, Friday through Saturday, Friday and Saturday looks better, but that's a bit far out in this scenario anyways. Okay. When we talk about light winds, I am targeting like newer pilots here. People say new to XC flying, that sort of stuff. Or if you're just wanting to fly in what I would call like just the really nice, pretty much perfect conditions, you're looking at definitely sub 20K an hour. Generally up to 15 would be kind of reasonable and that sort of stuff. Depending on the specific sites and things and elevations, things can change a little bit. But a good general rule is like up to 15K an hour is pretty great. 20 doable, depends on site and the topography. When you're looking at the Environment Canada forecast here, just to get a quick idea too is about wind, is it when you click on their hourly forecasts. Okay, so the hourly forecast, in this case we can see Monday's not a flying day anyways. This only shows the next 24 hours. But it does say, it's calm up until midday, and then they're expecting it to get very gusty and windy out of the north. So if it wasn't raining, yeah, you could maybe go flying for some short flights. You wouldn't expect to be soaring because it's showing light and variable and calm until the evening, which is going to be the whole day is ruined due to the rain and thunderstorms, and then the evening's blown out as well. One of the more common tools right now is using windy.com. So if we come over here to windy.com, right now this is set on today. And the default on Windy, when you're looking at this map view, I just grabbed the altitude slider over here on my desktop. So it defaults down to the surface again. So this right in the middle of the screen is the kind of Alberta BC border. I'll zoom out a little bit actually. So the Alberta BC Eastern Rockies region, Okanagan here in the middle, and then the west coast. Because we're dealing with mountains, I prefer to go by altitudes. Just good general starting place is 10,000 feet or 3,000 meters. That's, for a place like Lumbee and in the interior Okanagan, that's quite high. You don't need that much there for sure. In the Rockies, like quite a few peaks above that, and you're getting just a little over peak height for an area like some of the bigger peaks around Pemberton and stuff too. Okay, so you're lower down down the coast as well. For example, like Woodside area in the Lower Mainland. So it becomes more important as you go further east to the Rockies, to the Great Divide, where the general terrain is higher. We're going to slide altitude up to 10,000 feet. And really what we're looking for, so if you're going to use a different altitude, we're looking for light winds, which in windy, if I look at the US down here, is generally it should be looking more blue than green. Okay, green is getting kind of windy. It's like 26k an hour. Yellow and then red, like everything else, red equals dead. So you're not flying if it's red. That's not even close. So we're generally looking to see maybe very light green switching to blue, and then the dark blue is very light to no wind. So we can see right today, this is a Sunday, Western Canada, it's pretty much blown out everywhere. For the most part, some of the lower altitude places, like in the Okanagan, might have been somewhat viable because it's at 10,000 feet. So what you can do is just move up and down in elevation. So if we go down to 2,000 meters or 6,400, it looks a lot better. But that 10,000 foot view is, especially for XC flying, where you're hoping for higher cloud base and you're getting up to higher elevations, gives you a good idea in general what's going on. So what we're looking for here is the light blue and green. So we can move forward. So Monday we'll click on, but we know it's raining and we're not really looking at it anyways. If we go to that Tuesday day, so Tuesday I'm at 3 p.m. It's looking like maybe doable, right? The Rockies area, it's an east wind, which that kind of changes things up as it is. But yeah, especially on the east side in Alberta, very light winds. And then Pemberton over here, actually, very light winds as well. And that's where they at 10,000 feet. So if you move up and down from there, if I go just down one notch to 2,000 meters, a lot of light blue. And if I go up one even, which is getting to really high, over the Rockies, bit of green with a little bit of blue coming through. So, not great, but a bit more wind. So again, even over the Rockies, for example, on a really nice day, a really good flying day, I would be hoping to see more blue like this central BC, like Grand Cache, Prince George area at this type of elevation. Okay. One of the other tools is Canada RASP. So it's just another weather modeling tool. It uses data from Environment Canada that then gets processed through a server that does a bunch of calculations more specific to soaring and flying to generate the information. So it's canadarasp.com. This is what it looks like when it comes up. So it's a very similar map to what we see in Windy. If we zoom out on the left hand side here, and actually before I jump into here, if you do end up using this, there is the donate button. So again, there's not some association, etc., paying for this. We've got some longtime members of the community that have set up servers and manage this and run it as essentially as a public service. So definitely throw a donation in once a year at least, to keep this going. So coming back to the map, so I can make this look like windy. So it's defaulting at the surface. It's choosing the time and date closest to where we're at right now. If I scroll down, I can go up to 3,000 meters or my 10,000 foot level. And I'll zoom out a little bit. So the colors are a little bit different. For example, it goes to blue purple for really high winds. Um, but in general, we can see this band of high wind all across southern Western Canada, getting really intense over in Manitoba with all that blue. If we actually look up into northern BC, there's this little hole kind of just north of Prince Rupert, Stewart area, where it's almost clear and light green. So the equivalent on the Canada RAS map to the blue is clear and light green, maybe even to dark green. Some of the yellows, even depending on where you're at, is a little okay. Blue and red is definitely not cool, and that sort of thing. Okay. So again, you can go up in altitude. So if we want to go up to 3,600 meters, 14,000 feet, again, we can just see it's windier. Except if we go down to 2,500, looks a little bit better, but it's still not great. We can use this. This is the same as windy. The portion of this that is more beneficial are the wind grams. So you'll see the little wind grams link up in the upper left here. So if we go to wind grams, and what you do here is choose your region and where you want to check. So we'll just stick with using Golden BC as the example. So when I click on Kootenays, Golden is the default. Unless you switch it, the default model in here is only going to show you 2.5 days worth of information. But it is a much more highly detailed model. Unlike the default one in Windy is giving you like 7 days, right? The ECMFW model. So for Golden in here, so this is called a wind gram. We can see this is showing us the weather for starting at Sunday, which is today, the 13th at 11 a.m. So down here at the bottom is the time scale. Bottom left, we can see 11 a.m. So it's giving us 1 day, essentially 2 days right now on the screen is what it's showing across. So it gives you time along the bottom, elevation going up. So we can actually just see all the elevations. And at the top, you can see it gives you a percent cloud cover over time, rain over time, lift over time. So this is confirming the really crappy looking weather that we were looking at on Monday, where, yeah, lift dying in the early hours, etc., overnight, and even midday the following day, not much, lots of cloud, rain showing up. That's what the crosshatch on the wind gram, so it's lining up with the rain showing up, and that sort of thing. So this is what generally a bad wind gram looks like. It has lots of cloud, rain, and when you look at the wind even, so the little wind barbs, the little arrows, some of these have, each little tick on these wind barbs is 10k an hour. Okay. This is one thing people do commonly ask. And there are little half ticks. The half ticks are 5k an hour. So we can see Sunday is not too bad aside from the rain and stuff, but especially on Monday at fairly low elevation, so at 2,500 meters or 8,500 feet, there's a few 30k and some like 50k barbs even. So if they turn into just a little arrow on the end, or a triangle point, a jagged little tooth, once they exceed, I believe it's 40 on the barbs. So 4 ticks means 40k an hour. So a lot of wind. So this is what a bad day looks like. Okay, so lots of cloud, lots of rain, lots of little barbs on the wind arrows and whatnot. And you don't see many gliders up here in the air, that sort of stuff. If we switch to what an excellent day looks like, so this was a very good day back in April 26th this spring. And so you can see the little wind arrows, which show you direction and strength. Most of them are 10k an hour. There's a bunch of 5k an hour ones at lower altitudes. The max is 15, and it's kind of like spread out. And that's even to quite high. Like right now, the chart's maxing out at almost 14,000 feet. So You can see the little paragliders going up way high, which that's giving you the estimated height of lift that you'll be able to use. The little clouds are showing you cloud base as well, so it's showing the paragliders getting right up to cloud base, or even slightly above cloud base, which means if there's clouds, thermals might actually pull you right up into them. There's no rain showing up on this one, so up in the top, it's not showing any rain, and cloud percentage only gets a little high just for a little bit in the middle of the day, so we're expecting clouds to pop that day. This is what you're looking for. So if I look for, and this is, I do have it switched on to 1 day on this view instead of the multi-day. So for a single day, this is what a really good day looks like. So it's pretty straightforward. Mostly sun, and very little wind. And in this case, it's very little wind through all the elevations we're going to go flying in, which is great. The other caveat to this is if you are wanting to fly, if you're looking to get your first XC flights in, or you're starting to fly some XC and wanting to get a longer flight in, is you want to see this over a large area. Okay, so if we go back to windy, and we'll just use this as an example. And what we're gonna do is, yeah, we'll go to Tuesday because it looks sort of reasonable when we were looking at the winds. If we go back to 10,000 feet, yeah, and in this case we'll use Pemberton as the example. Wind strength is quite low, so some of the bigger flights in Pemberton, well, the biggest ones, big triangles, people can fly there, go from Pemberton all the way down to Squamish, up the Ashley Lahu, way up to here, back to Pemberton. So it's like 230K triangles down the lower lake and that sort of stuff. So that whole area has pretty much the same wind conditions as far as we can see on here. So for XC flying, you need to see these good conditions over a large area, right? So it's just not that, oh, where I'm launching is good. We're looking for fairly large areas with these good conditions. For example, that day we used as our sample good day in the windgram, this was good, a great day, pretty much all across the Rockies, going pretty far west and very far south. So like we're looking at Golden right now, but if we go to down the valley from Golden to Radium, see it looks the same, even maybe mostly the same, a little bit more wind in the evening. If we drop down to Elko, which is not that far off the US border, pretty comparable, even less wind. And if we switch to Alberta and the Canmore area, more clouds showing up late in the day, but again, winds at least and lift until midday look really good as well. So, and we'll jump over to Revelstoke here too. So again, Revelstoke, pretty high, not as high as in the Rockies, which is kind of normal, but again, very light winds and quite a bit of lift showing the gliders. So over a very large area, we're seeing widespread good conditions. If you're seeing good conditions across all these sites spread over 100 kilometers, it's a good day, right? That's the day you call in sick for work. I think I'm getting the black lung. Beg your boss for a day off, do whatever it takes to get out when you see days like this showing up. Okay, but yeah, this is what it comes down to, is you're looking for days like this, especially when you check these windgrams. Light winds, lots of sun. Windgrams show you high lift projected for gliders. So these are the days we want to get out and fly. So yeah, this is video number 1 for the channel. The whole intention is, yeah, to produce a series of videos. Some of them are going to be weather focused. Some of them are going to be site guides, especially for the local areas in Alberta and eastern BC. Some hike and fly related content. Just anything I can think of where I see gaps, or where, you know, with all the students I've been teaching and helping with and working with over the years, where I've been noticing like consistently the same questions coming up, things people are asking about, wanting to know about, that sort of stuff. So yeah, putting this out there, see if it gets used, if people want to watch this content. And yeah, get feedback in the comments or request for what people are looking for as well. And some of the next ones, probably number 2 or 3, will be more long-term weather forecasting, things to look at and watch out for in Western Canada and the Western Canadian mountains. And then there's some of the site guides got lined up for the local area. So that's it. That's a wrap for number 1. We'll see how this turns out. But yeah, thanks for watching if you've made it to the end. And yeah, we'll check you out on the next one. Thanks.